I'm talking to Chelsea Duffy today from Grand Innovations. Is that what I'm calling it?
Yep, doing business as Local Motive.
Okay, great. And one of the companies that is vying for a medical marijuana dispensary in Jersey City.
So yes, Karen is correct. I am working in medical cannabis, and I'm working to integrate it responsibly, safely, and smartly into Jersey City. My company is Grand Innovations, but we are doing business as Local Motive. So if you attend any of our events or you hear about us, that's me. In fact, I have an event on October 15th at Hudson Hall if you'd like to come. I've been working really close with the community at large on a number of different topics, some pertaining directly to cannabis, others have nothing to do with it. It's just that this platform has brought up a lot of topics like social injustice, expungement, things at a local level that you never talk about, you don't discuss. And then it confuses the audience because we're making headway, but then the community hears otherwise. So I'm here to kind of like clear some of that up, debunk some of the untruths to this process, what it's like to really be involved in medical cannabis, and the impact, the positive impact it can make on a community.
So let's talk, I think, first about kind of where Jersey City is on that scape and how far along are they in bringing medical cannabis to the city?
So that's a good question, and frankly a little loaded, because you know how politics works. So some people think that they have it nailed. They've got the facts. They're working with the state. They understand all the information. And then you have the other side that knows absolutely nothing and relies solely on individuals like myself to educate our community leaders, which I find a little fascinating because it is coming, and it's coming very quick. Whether or not the city agrees with it, it will be here. Licenses have already been granted.
And specifically for Jersey City, or are they statewide?
Specifically for, well, statewide, yes, but we will have them in Jersey City. A very limited amount. But I find that in having this conversation, to your point, a lot of the people that you would think have a really good grasp on what's going on do not.
Yeah.
And where we're currently at is Jersey City has one cultivation, manufacturing, and processing license, or production license rather, that has already been granted. And that was given last year in the vertical round. So what that means is there will be essentially like a factory-sized building planted here in Jersey City, and they will be cultivating cannabis for medical purposes.
Meaning growing it there?
Correct.
Wow.
Correct.
Okay.
Growing it, producing it, manufacturing, all the different components that go into the cultivation, that will be here. And what will happen is they're going to be a wholesaler to the entire state, which is really fantastic for a community like Jersey City because those dollars will filter back on to the local level. So from there, that's happening. That's already set in stone. The license has been granted. The space has been bought.
And there's no, I think, reservations about, I guess, the scent in the air or anything that it does back. I mean, having that kind of production sounds...
Absolutely. And that's a great concern to have. In fact, being involved in the business, there's a lot of concerns such as that you really have to be aware of.
And also the soil here.
Absolutely. So cultivating is down to a science. The type of establishment that it requires in a community is like none other.
Yeah.
You've never seen something of this caliber because it hasn't happened yet. It's a controlled substance. It's still an illicit substance. So you have to follow major regulations, major compliances at a state level, not at a local level, at a state level. And you have a microscope on you regarding every single thing you're doing, every single step you're taking. So things like security, scent, sanitation, they have their own ways of handling all of that.
Okay.
For example, like sanitation, you can't just throw a bag of
That's what I was thinking. Right.
Yeah. So, compliancy is huge. You can't just create cannabis and then sell it. You have compliance officers, regulation officers. They come in, they look at every single piece of cannabis you're growing, every single formula, every single equation. If your final product is even slightly off, deviates just a tad from the original end product that you had in mind, compliance regulation says burn it.
Wow.
You cannot legally sell that because this is medicine.
Right.
You can't, the FDA is involved.
Yeah.
You cannot medicate individuals without proper
Having it
regulation.
perfect. Yeah,
Exactly.
that makes sense.
So what that means is when you have to, because it happens all the time, it's just like growing a bad batch as a farmer.
Yeah.
You know, so if that occurs, you have to work very closely with a specific sanitation company, one that comes specifically to pick up the stuff and then disposes it themselves off-site.
Wow. Okay, so it's not like they're burning it there. Okay.
No. It's very highly regulated. So the cultivation space of all the different licenses, there's about 5 that you can obtain, is the hardest to get, the hardest to sustain, the hardest to maintain,
Yeah, I
and
can
will
imagine.
cost the most money. Your insurance and your security plan, whole nother level.
Yeah, I can imagine. So they've already given that license out, or they've already said publicly they've approved one?
So publicly they approved one. It gets a little dicey with the state to actually say they've got their license.
Yeah.
We pretty much believe they totally have the license granted. It's just more of like getting up and running at this point. They bought the space. The town has approved it.
Do you know where it is? And don't divulge if it's secret information.
No. It's not secret information. I don't exactly know where it is, but it's a huge
I would imagine,
warehouse.
yeah.
I think it's over towards, where there's a new film studio
Yes,
coming to
yeah,
town. Like
yeah.
over in that same kind
I
of like
would've guessed, yeah.
industrial park area,
Yeah.
which is great because we need a lot of like friction there. We need a lot of action to be placed in that area.
Yes, 100%.
So that's exciting.
All right, so then let's talk about, I guess, on the storefront level. I guess it's not, yes, the
Sure.
medical dispensary level.
Yep. So exactly, this parlays right into the next step, which is inviting dispensaries into town. So you have your cultivator.
Yep.
That's always the first. You can't dispense without such. So they were granted their license almost a year ago. After that, coming full circle, another year later, late August, the state allowed for those pursuing a medical dispensary to apply. That is the round that I was in, that a lot of my other counterparts in competition were in as well. We will not know when those licenses are granted until probably November or December, which really could be like tomorrow. We're all sitting on pins and needles, but to answer your question, the next part to come in and integrate will be the dispensary. It'll likely be sometime in 2020. Could be January, it could be December. But the town will have to get themselves in a position to handle what that means. And so I have, for the past 2 years, have been working with different councilmen and women, different politicians, different change makers, community leaders, to start the conversation so that we are prepared for when it hits.
Yeah.
And it's been really, really difficult. And there's been a lot of naysayers, but like I said, it's coming no matter what. So now it's about how are we going to position ourselves in Jersey City appropriately, and how can we actually become like a safe pioneer in the space
Right.
for the state.
And do it responsibly.
Exactly. I mean, we have 250,000 people right here in Jersey City, and the rate of patients is growing every single day. But there's nowhere to treat them within, 5 miles.
Yes.
You have to drive to Secaucus, which is really not that big of a deal. It's great if you have your own car, but there's thousands of us in this city that do not. Me.
Or people who are suffering from, cancer treatments.
Exactly.
Or who are really sick and
Caretakers.
who cannot get there.
Exactly. Or like, for example, this could blow your mind, but it's very, very true. Medical cannabis does not cure anything. It provides a better quality of life.
Yes.
So what that means is you treat a significant elderly population
I'm sure.
that cannot get out of their bed,
Yep.
that don't have the means to have someone even go get them cannabis.
Yeah. Who are in pain, who are suffering,
Every
who might be
day.
at the end of their lives. Yeah, of course.
Exactly. And listen, one could argue, oh, you're just going to help them get high and lay in bed. No, I'm going to help them relax.
Yeah.
I'm going to help them take the pressure off of their everyday frustrations and illnesses.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want just a couple hours of peace to yourself? It's also about catering to the people that can't help themselves sometimes. There's no reason anyone should be limited to this type of treatment because they don't have a vehicle or because they don't have a means to get there.
So the licenses that will be coming to Jersey City,
Mm-hmm.
are they just for the state? Like, are we going to get New Yorkers coming in, taking the path and buying? Or is it...
So that's a very good question. No. This is state only, in-state only. It
Okay.
cannot cross state lines. And unfortunately, your med card in New York would not work
That's what
in
I
New Jersey.
thought, but I wasn't sure if that was changing at all.
And it could. It very well could.
Yeah.
A lot of
But they
times.
haven't approved it there yet, I don't think, in New York City. Or maybe they did. I don't remember.
I'm actually not quite sure. I've been so focused on
Yeah.
Jersey. And Jersey and New York are competing for who gets it first.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and especially Jersey City versus Manhattan. So it's like we draw the line and we do not cross paths and we do not really communicate too much.
I can imagine.
So it's a little unfortunate because I really do believe in like building the community and working with others to make this happen. But every state is completely different. They have their own regulations.
Yeah.
And we can't get mixed up in all that.
And then also what I found really interesting and what you had mentioned is that a certain amount of licenses are going to women-run or minority-run businesses, which I
Yes.
think is a great way to distribute, equitable income that's going to come from all of this. So
Absolutely.
you are one of the only women-run companies that are
Right.
vying for one of these licenses.
That is correct. So it is true, which, I am so thankful for. And I really do believe that that should be the case to kind of even this playing field a little bit,
100%.
And so women and minorities were given a 15% preference during this application process. Now, that doesn't mean that you are just Karen, you're a woman and you're applying and then you get this additional point, right? You have to, just like any other formal business, be certified as a women's business enterprise or minority business enterprise. Those are certifications that you have to apply for. They're very difficult in some cases. I, for example, don't generate revenue. The application for a women's business enterprise goes through the Department of Revenue here in New Jersey.
Okay.
That can vary state to state, but the Department of Revenue is the one that allocates these licenses and these certifications, right? Well, in order to get one, you have to have proof of 3 years of taxes or income under your
But
company.
you're not making revenue yet.
Exactly. Very difficult.
Wow.
Very difficult. So what could be an overnight process, and you could be given a certification by the end of the week because you've been up and running for 3 years and you've had income and you've had tax reports and all that. I myself am not. So what should be a week-long process took 6 months.
Wow. Yeah. Of course, because you're vying for. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to
prove
fight
everything.
tooth and nail. I had to send background checks. I had to send information on my entire company. I had to give away information that at a state level they don't usually ask for to prove that I was a women business enterprise.
Wow.
Doesn't matter if you're an actual female and have the anatomy.
Okay.
Really doesn't.
Well, I'm happy that they're making it easier for women.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I guess you had said you're getting final word next year. And what do you envision, I guess, if you get this license and what your dispensary, I know we've talked about responsible,
Use.
use, and community engagement
Of
and
course.
going out there and making sure that everyone's kind of on board
And comfortable.
supporting and comfortable, 100%.
Yeah, this town is so community driven.
Yeah.
That the real, I think, audience that should be tapped into is the parents and those that may have some skepticisms, but also may be teetering on the belief that this is a good thing.
You feel like parents, like from the family community, are going to be your biggest naysayers or your biggest, I guess, hurdle to educate?
Biggest hurdle to educate,
Okay.
because parents know everything. No, I'm just kidding. But
I will say, as this parent, I'm a medical marijuana card holder, so.
my girl, and so is my mom. But they are unique because half of them want to support and half of them really don't. And they've already been my biggest battle so far. It's really, I want to say this correctly, but I feel that it's like mostly closed-minded women that I'm having the hardest time communicating with.
So disseminating that information.
Exactly. So properly
Having these
educating.
conversations, right?
Exactly.
About responsible.
Yes. So properly educating, this in like a forum-like setting.
Yeah.
So just to pivot a little bit, we're going to be like a holistic alternative treatment center. We're not just going to supply medical cannabis.
Right.
We're going to be a place where you can come for other therapies. Not only that, we're going to plan to host weekly or biweekly events for different audiences so that we can tap into the specific concerns of these individuals. So if it's a religious group, let's talk about why this is concerning. If it's a mom group, same. If it's a political group, same. If it's a corporate group, same.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
So you'll be able to come there, which sounds really exciting. Like a whole wellness center based around natural.
Exactly.
Amazing. Okay.
Yep, we'll be doing therapeutic yoga. We'll have massages on site. Even down to B12 shots.
Yeah.
We will have licensed
Oh God, I
nurses.
could use one of them.
Yeah, licensed nurses and practitioners that will be available.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
So even I think the community members that maybe aren't as excited to have a licensed dispensary around maybe will love the fact that there are other services that you guys are offering.
Exactly.
And that's only one part of what you do. But
Correct.
overall it is, a wellness of the community.
And one thing that's really cool is that the space that we're really close to getting right now is split level, and it has a separate entrance to the upstairs. And so we want to have dual access to our center, one of which, on the retail level, you'll be coming in for medical cannabis. The other door will lead you up a stairwell, and we'll also put an elevator in there because it's for our patients, to experience everything except the cannabis side of what we're doing. So if you don't want to dabble in that world, or it
And
makes you
yeah, exactly. You don't have to see it.
of course,
Okay.
And that's the space where we'll host these events.
Yeah. Chelsea, this is all really exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you for chatting with me
Thank
about
you.
it. We're looking forward to hearing on how everything goes. Good luck.
Thanks.
And I can say I am very, very happy and comfortable that there are people like you who are being socially responsible and community responsible about bringing this to our city. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And I just want to say that it would be seriously so impossible to do what I'm doing unless there were individuals like you that were willing to open up the space and open up the community and allow me to have a voice. It's really difficult to find that, but it takes, connecting with like-minded people that care.
Yeah.